Please tell me why you always hating.
I thought I'd get
Please tell me why you always hating.
Get a longer one off since I didn't think we had as much to talk about.
Pause. yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man, the man, myth, the legend, no cause for an applause, Just Lex.
DJ Normal Ass Carl in the mix.
It's like one of those every time I leave the page is gonna sign me out.
You know, just and you can go back while I'm doing all this to get you all set up. Given the conversation that we had on pre-production, how you been? how's everything going, bro? Share. You said that you're a Pop Warner coach now, right? I'm tired of telling you, bro.
That's a stretch.
Straw Hat King right here, bro.
Hey, the thing is, I thought about you saying that, right? Because I have my hat on, but every coach that was on the field, all straw hats.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to get you. That's a real thing, bro. Look, it's been like that. PE coaches, too. They're straw hats.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we all just protecting ourselves and shit like that. I thought my coaching shit was done until I got called down to help with some drills.
So let me ask you, do you know what you're looking at, though, when you're doing the drills? Like to make sure they're doing it effectively?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you didn't play football growing up. So that's why I was like,
not in that capacity. I did run flag and we got us a little city championship or whatever. But as far as like hitting,
that's a fun fact I didn't know about you.
Yeah, hitting and tackling and stuff like that. Like I know how to do that properly.
They're not tackling. No one tackles properly anyway. They don't even.
Yeah,
teach
but
that.
I mean, like any of the drills, like I know the footwork drills. I know the stuff that we're doing right now. I can do.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
you're not calling plays and stuff like that.
No, they're not. They're just conditioning right now. It's too early.
Most people don't realize how hard that is.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever heard like a play called, like a legit one? Like.
I ain't remembering all that shit.
Yeah, but that like you have to just like the quarterback has to remember all that.
Right.
All you got to know is whatever call signal he calls out or whatever that I'm familiar with, that's gonna tell me. Like I always laugh when dudes be talking like, oh, the Chargers suck and blah blah blah, and it's like, bro, you don't understand how hard the game is.
Right. Even when I was playing flag and I was quarterback, we probably ran maybe 6 or 7 plays,
and then they were just flipped on the other side. Huh?
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. But
now
like
a
real
playbook, you stretch them to 9. Yeah, real playbook. No, you got to know because like when they do the call signs, that's different footwork for the linemen on what side they're gonna block on, where the wide receivers are gonna do, what's the check down, like all that shit is all in that one play, bro. Z57, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, all that.
Arnold Palmer on 3. You're like, all right, well, Z57 is like what the wide receiver routes are. You know, like that shit's hard, bro. Like
it is.
Basketball too, right? Like that's why, like, okay, I was arguing with Ben, and my stance on this is I think that European players have ruined the game. I agree with what Gilbert Arenas is saying, right? And the reason why I say that is because all these bigs are all playing around the 3-point line, and it's leaving the lane open for point guards to get here. And then the bigs being out there, they're getting discount calls, right? I feel like, you should be able to maneuver the player over, you know what I mean? Like be able to shift him. And then when he didn't understand what I was saying, I was like, I'm talking to the wrong person, right? I'm not trying to say that like, oh, the NBA is catering to them. I'm just saying that the European style of play that these guys are doing, it just don't make no sense. Joker's getting all these easy ass calls and shit like that. So I'm from Hackashack.
His point is that's the MVP. He's a superstar. Superstars get calls, and that's a real thing. So he just happens to be European, but yes, he's getting calls because he earned that.
I hear that and I know that point too. But the Euro style of play. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. These dudes are not, besides Giannis, besides the bigs, right? They're not great defenders, right? They're not overly athletic and shit like that. The foul calls and rules are all catered from this NBA globalization shit because these dudes, when they first came over here, they weren't that freaking good. Now, what you can say is they go pro faster, right? Because Justin was here talking about how the soccer clubs are at 15, 16. So they're playing older guys a lot earlier and stuff like that.
They're grown men.
They're grown men, yes, by the time they get here.
What Jonathan was trying to point out was like that has nothing to do with the Europeans coming over. The NBA was changing these rules because they want more offense, faster pace, and all that. That had nothing to do with what you're talking about.
I don't know. I get what you're saying. Yes, the NBA did say that because they don't like defensive struggle games. And guess what? That Minnesota game versus Minnesota's been playing against Denver, right? Not this last game that passed. Well, by the time y'all hear this or whatever, but last week the game there was a defensive struggle in the third quarter, and it wasn't interesting, right? Because both teams weren't scoring. So I understand that piece. Right, but it's interesting when you just see the struggle. That game was great because I want to say that Denver was up 10 or whatever, and then no, it wasn't that game. My bad. It was OKC when OKC was playing. I got them mixed up when OKC was playing versus Dallas. Like nobody would score really the third quarter like 2 games ago.
It's a superstar thing. This is why when you see LeBron getting that upset about a call because he's like, y'all supposed to give me that one. He just very animated about it when he don't get it.
I don't believe in the superstar thing. I don't feel like anyone should get any. If that shit works, then bro, let me because I run a podcast, but I'm not really a superstar. Let me pass on a few tickets. You know what I mean?
No, just it is what it is. It's the same way the NBA will tell refs hey, I understand what they doing is flagrant, but these people paid to see the superstars. Don't do they give them a little bit more of a leash when it comes to that second technical or an ejection. It's we can't just be doing that.
Not Tony Brothers.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
he be teeing them up.
We be out.
What'd you say? All my man did was wipe at him. Man, T, you got it. Me, nothing too special going on. What I wanted to get at last week before we get into the episode. Paradise Hills Pony Baseball. It's a joke. Right? And I usually don't do this, but I think that this needs to be said. So when we come in, the coach that I normally coach with, I ain't gonna make this too long-winded. Guy that I normally coach with, we came in the fall. I told him I wasn't gonna play in the fall, and I was like, bro, I'll have him with me. We got to work on certain skills before we just start playing games. So I'll be there in the spring. I get there in the spring. There's a lady by the name of Lena that's been there for forever, right? She was there when my cousin Kim, her son, was playing about 8 or 9 years ago. And back then, I remember there was 2 or 3 teams per division, right? To where now when I get here, there's only 1 team in the division, right? And we're we're playing games against travel teams, right? It took me a while. No one prepped us for anything. Right, so you sign up, you spend $200 for your kids, to go and play or whatever. They give you a practice schedule in which they gave us about 3 or 4 of them or whatnot, and it kept changing. And now I look disorganized because you can't get your shit together or whatever with these kids. So what ends up happening is that for let's say 3 months, I'm just watching shit, bro. I bring all my own shit. I got balls, nets, all that. Nobody gave us a pack of balls. No one gave us anything. First game, umpire shows up an hour and a half late, right? You ain't seen me post no videos, right? It's just usually been my wife if you see it, because I'm not fucking with them, right? and when my daughter goes out to practice on the off days, I'm noticing that the fields that we practice at, she opened the shed up. Oh, there's a golf cart in there, drag the field, all kind of shit. So we not open to using that. If I didn't bring my own shit, I would have never known. But on my daughter's team is 1 coach out there, right? And so what got me is that I'm looking at National City Kimball Park, and they didn't got their shit together, right? They didn't got banners out there. And this is what I was telling y'all last week, that the travel teams, man, they out here, they going into these leagues and they infiltrating or whatever, and some of them are helping, right? But there's this one particular team, and here's where I knew we had a problem. See, y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all don't own them fields, right? Bayview right here down the street and shit, they don't own that. The Navy lets them use it, right? And the Navy allows them to use those fields just as long as they are serving the greater public. Well, you're not serving the greater public when you don't have an opening day, when you don't have a closing day. You charge people $50 for a snack bar fee and say you can come work it, but the snack bar has only been open twice this year. I've been coming up to you telling you, right, Lena, because I don't know who the fuck Steven is, right? I don't even remember. It was Steven, YWO, whatever the fuck his name is. I've never met him, right? But the snack bar ain't been open. None of that shit is there, bro. And you just stealing. You stealing from these kids, right? So 3 weeks ago, I have a problem where we had a game and the travel ball team, little select team is the name of them, filled with some coaches and shit, right? The team breaks the window on one of the coaches' car. The kids ain't even on the field. We are. They in there playing around, right? They don't say nothing. One of the parents goes over and looks at the car and he's like, oh shit. Comes back during the game and is like, hey, was your car window broken already? He's like, nah, what you talking about? So bro walk over there. The coaches over there on that travel team, they just watch bro, right? They watching him look at the window and shit. They don't say a word. So he come back, he's like, man, they broke my window. I was like, they didn't say nothing? He's like, nah. So I walk over there. It's black dudes too, right? There's 2 black coaches for the older team. I say, hey man, my man want to get your information and stuff at the end of the game or whatever. He not trying to do nothing to you, but maybe the league has insurances or something like that. You know, he can at least check in and the insurance company can tell him no. Right? Older guy for the team, he like, yeah, that's cool, man. Don't worry about it. So then we come back. I scoot up. I get up there at the end of the game. We go. I ask dude for his number. He start going off. Oh, my number is blah, 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 and I ain't paying for shit. Nobody asked you that, dog. We asked you because the window is broke and your kids is the kids is right here playing around and they not using the field. You know what I mean? Like bro can at least ask. And he got brolic on me. And I was like, bro, I'm not trying to fight you. There's kids out here. Then I got this little Mexican dude off on the side of me like he's about to punch me, like sneak me. And I'm like, bro, I'm from the hood, just like y'all. I know what you're doing. Back up. I'm not trying to fight. So I called the league president, or I called the player relations lady, Lena, right? Because when I was walking over, I was like, yo, I'm going to go clean the fields. The dude's like, nah, it's our field. Get out of here. Also, it's y'all field, right? We all pay money here. And if I'm counting the money right, it's about $3,000 on this team. So it's your field though, but the Navy owns this field, right? And y'all supposed to have insurances and shit. And you telling me it's parked at your own risk. So if I took a ball right now and I start breaking all the fucking windows around here and I said park at your own risk, does that apply? No. Well, you weren't at an actual practice when this shit happened. So why do you get to dictate that? So I tell this motherfucker, I call her, and I'm talking to her in the same fashion I'm talking right now, because I'm fed up at this point. I didn't gave you enough chances of you fucking me over and making me look crazy. I coach high school ball, right? So I know what super organized look like, and I've coached Little League before. So I know what like non-organized look like, and you're fucking the worst. You are absolutely the worst because you're robbing kids. You're not talking to parents, right? And you're just using people to fund this little bullshit ass travel team. And then when your kids is old enough, you're gone. So the reason why I'm having this conversation with you is because I'm going to clip this up. I'm not done. And I'm going to keep promoting this shit. My dad didn't want me to say nothing. But I don't live like that. You're not going to steal from me and think that it's okay. I want any person that goes over there to find out what they really doing over there. You stealing money from people. You giving us bullshit ass schedules. We didn't have games scheduled on Mother's Day, right? And then she's like, oh, I don't do the scheduling. Then you cancel it last minute. You wasted my time. We played 8 games, Alex, since February. 9 games. You stealing. That ain't going to work for me. You know what I mean? So it's just unfortunate, bro, that this is what it's come down to. This was a nice area to be able to have like sports and shit like that, man. And the disorganization is crazy. And as somebody like such as yourself that lives down in an area where people care about their community and all that other shit, shit's just disheartening. Like I feel like now I just got to move out of here because this is like my second league. So yeah, that's my story. You got any kids that you want to sign up? Don't sign them up there. Go to Skyline Little League, go to Twin Hills or whatever, at least where people give a shit. Being real. I can sit up here and lie to you, but I feel like it's very cowardly for you to allow that shit to happen and then don't say anything. So don't call me, don't hit me up or nothing. This is me giving back to the community. Just me.
There you go.
There we go. All right, hit my hand class, man. I got my shit off.
Get this track loaded up?
Nah, this is all they need. Go ahead and tag their ass.
You gonna tag them?
Hell yeah. I ain't got no problem with that.
That's how I got fired from Patton Oscars.
For doing that?
Yeah, pretty much.
You knew that was coming. You think gonna fire me for volunteering? You gonna fire me for volunteering? You weren't even paying me for doing this shit that I do.
If they engage in it too and it gets our shit up.
No, I love it. I love it. They ain't got another pool though. Ain't nobody there. All the people left. The Skyline Pony League is because there was a guy just like me who felt the same way.
I'm just saying, like, if it was bigger, like me, like even something simple. I posted my videos from Benny the other night.
Yeah.
He reposted one of them. I got like 50 new followers.
Oh shit! There you go. That works. You should have shook his hand after. He probably saw you because he went through your page.
No. This was late because he had 2 shows since I posted this shit yesterday. I went to the show on Saturday. You know, you never know where I'm really at because I be posting shit.
And you
late.
also caught him during the business week because if it was Saturday you posted, he wasn't gonna see that shit. He probably traveling somewhere just on his phone.
He was out.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What types of people don't deserve a second chance, in your opinion? This is Second Chance Poppy. That's why I love asking him these questions first.
Yeah.
and when you pause, because like now you see people posting you like the Lex pause is funny. Like they, we should make a shirt with your ass just pausing.
Man, I think almost everybody is warranted a second chance. I have a real hard time with like the kid fondlers and stuff like that. But man, I'm pretty lenient as far as second chances on a lot of things. As a man who's made a lot of mistakes.
Murder.
When you say second chance when it comes to murder, do you mean like getting them off and like, all right, you got one more shot, but then you go to jail?
Let's
or
say
is
you
it
go
like
back into society or whatever and be able to live among people. Murder.
Like when I'm watching Shawshank.
Not manslaughter, but not manslaughter. I'm talking murder.
Yeah, when I'm watching Shawshank, like, damn, that dude came in here, you know, at 16 years old or whatever. He's like about to be 60 or whatever. There's a certain amount of time. I'm like, all right, I think you might be able to, outside of the institution and all that other stuff that happens by being in prison your whole life.
Yeah.
I think in general, he can probably be out. I don't believe in the death penalty and shit like that. I do think there is a certain amount of time, and it might be different for depending on the person or like how it happened. But after a certain amount of time, even murder, I'm like, all right, man. Especially if they did that shit when they were super young and dumb or whatever, or everybody going through some shit. Maybe he had like some mental shit going on. Whatever the case may be, yeah, even murder.
What about sex offenders?
Yeah, when it comes to the kids and shit like that, and those
penalty?
are the ones I'm like, yeah, you might want to kill those motherfuckers off.
I'm with you on that one. Okay. Elder abuse.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, but...
And I'm going to leave it general just like that. I don't want to get specific on that.
Yeah, I think there's a scenario I can paint where I really think it's just with kids. I think the kids things will get me, but mostly anything else.
Your girl cheat on you.
Yeah, I think there's a scenario where I'm like, yeah, I can deal with that.
For real? All right, there you go.
I've dealt with it.
You know, I feel like the older as I grow older, there are things that I used to think that were hard nosed. It's something about like owning a house and having kids where you realize, yo, like there's a bigger problem in the world than what I'm tripping on. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like having kids and like responsibility and shit has made me passive to a lot of things that I wasn't always passive on. You know,
and then as you get more experience, or maybe you like, you know, obviously I've had to deal with a handful of things recently where
Right.
It's like, you know what? I know who I am. I know how I feel about things. And then I know how I'm being treated in certain arenas. And I'm like, you know what? It's crazy. And this is kind of how I felt about like interviews and college admissions and stuff like that. You look totally different on paper than you are when you're actually like in real life. And I think that goes for most people, to where it's like if you're only judging by a person on paper, you can either miss out on a lot of good people, or there's a lot of good people that aren't going to get no second shot or get treated like shit because of what it looks like on paper that probably don't deserve that.
okay.
And so I try to empathize with the actual human being and like, okay, yeah, you're in jail, you did some fuck shit, but like there's a whole bunch of shit that could have gone behind it and this and that, and it doesn't make it all the way right, but I think it could lead to a point where it's like you probably don't deserve all this shit.
Right.
And maybe even getting to the point where it leads up to, eventually you going to get a second chance. And it's going to be like a real second chance, not one of them bullshit ones. But yeah, when it comes to like messing with the kids, like, nah.
Yeah, I'm not with you on the murder piece. I feel like if you take a life, depending on if you were defending yourself, that's something completely different. And that there's a gray area there where you have to prove it. But I feel like, like if you took someone's life in vain, like, nah, you just gotta die in jail, big dog. You ain't got to be killed or nothing like that.
There's a lot of murders that I would agree with you.
Yeah.
There's certain dogs like, yo, you had to stab him 38 times or, whatever shit like that, where it's like, damn, that shit was crazy. Cool. But there's certain ones, and I think I'm usually talking about young people that make mistakes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, dang, you went up in there, you probably didn't plan on shooting nobody. You was doing a robbery, whatever you was doing. You shot somebody dead, and, you got caught. It is what it is. And, just young kids doing dumb shit before they know no better. And it's not always their fault that they don't know no better. And so, like, shit like that. There's a lot of people that do that no, they don't deserve no second chance. I'm trying not to generalize one charge, but yeah, I will generalize, like, the kid shit. Like, all them Boy Scout people, yeah, get them the fuck out of here.
What about genocide?
Them priests, get them the fuck out of here.
Genocide.
Yeah, genocide, that's pretty flagrant. That's no accident. You want to keep going and you want to do all this other shit. You have a problem. You need to be stopped.
Do you feel like people deserve a second chance that do that? Like, for example, you got Live Golf, right? They're funded by a Saudi Arabian PIF, right? A personal investor, whatever. And a lot of people were killing them were killing the Americans and the other Europeans that joined that league because of where the money came from. But they're getting a second chance in essence. And a lot of people are no longer mad at them going over there because they've made it seem cool.
And it's hypocrisy, right?
Yes.
Because we pick and choose when to be outraged.
Yes.
Because if we want to talk about where the money's coming from and what shit represents, you got to look at everything you do in life.
Okay, explain that. Break it down.
You go drink coffee.
We hit a hot button topic. His eyes is laser focused right now. Go ahead.
You go drink it. I would like to think the average person, more times than not, probably drinks coffee. If you drink coffee, you probably eventually get to Starbucks.
Okay.
What is Starbucks doing? They do a lot of fuck shit.
Like what?
You don't think about. One of the big things now, I think a lot of the people that are supporting, like they, between the war in the Middle East and they're okay with certain things. You got people who like, yo, Chick-fil-A.
I was about to say,
he don't fuck with gay people. Whatever it is.
Chicken fire, though.
Hey.
That's what people say.
You got to be consistent,
Chicken
right?
Fire, though.
You got to be consistent because in the society we live in, if you want to be about that life, don't jump in and jump out when it's convenient.
Yeah.
Be about that life. And so if you're mad at a certain company for doing certain things because you're worried about where the money coming from, do that with every company you deal with. I'm talking about your phone provider, the car you drive, the fast foods you eat, the stores you shop at. All of these are owned by people who have political affiliations and what they do, who they fund, who they fuck with. And a lot of times it's not pretty, but you're just like, I can't live without whatever it is. And so you turn your blind eye to it. The whole Live Golf thing, people are just like, it doesn't affect me enough to where I can just talk shit about it and be like, oh, damn, we really gonna let this blood money fund this and y'all gonna be okay with it? I bet you they deal with another company in some way that does a lot of fuck shit too, and they don't care.
Yeah.
So just be consistent all the way through. It's exhausting, but if you want to be about that, otherwise I don't want to hear your outrage.
And some people don't understand that. Like they feel like you're just disregarding them. Like, oh, you don't want to hear me. And it's like, bro, like I don't want to. I'm so tired of arguing with people, man, that like play both sides of the fence or play things out of convenience. That is so crazy to me, man. Like the older I get, the more I see it. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not a complainer.
Right.
Like I came in here and complained today, but 6 months went by before I even said anything. I let that shit build up. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, I like to adapt to situations, right? So I do this thing. I had Miss Rose one time do it. We were talking maybe about a few years back, and I was like, yo, we do these little strength things at work, you know what I mean, where they talk about like their strengths. And my key strengths are adaptability, achiever, deliberative, harmony, right? That harmony is 5th though. They rank that as number 5, right, on my thing, because it don't be showing. And I forgot what the other one is off the top of my head. But that adaptability for me is like, yo, you give me a situation or you say, hey, these are the tools that you have to build this or whatever. I'm not going to look over at somebody else's pile and say, well, shit, why don't I have one of those? I'm going to take what I have or whatever and make the most of it. Right. And if what I have or what I acquired, you know, to get those things or whatever to build is just what I was able to get, then that's what I was able to get. But a lot of people don't look at things in that fashion, right?
Yeah, they want to complain about what they don't have, and instead of just being like, "Well, this is what I got. What can I do with it?"
Yeah.
When my routine changes, I don't like it. Things happen. I'm like, "Damn, I got to deal with this now." But I'm not gonna just give up. It's like, all right, now I need a new routine that has to fit this in, or this has to change up, and then I get over it. Like, okay, I'm cool.
Yeah, but I normally see people that are like me and you, we are the same in that I don't really buy clothes and shit like that, right? Like I see you look down.
No,
Look, this sock got a hole underneath and I ain't gonna even front, right? Like if my sock got a hole, right? Yep.
I'm losing like one per week.
One of those, right? I gotta check them sometimes now too, because I be wearing like slides in the morning. But, you know, we getting ready to go on a trip. And I ain't bought clothes. Like I looked at my closet. I was like, I ain't got shit. Ever since 2019, bro, I've either put money in golf, my kids, or my house. That's it. Like I don't wear, besides maybe buying an Apple Watch or a car or something like that. But other than that, bro, I'm not, like the everyday things don't do it for me anymore. Like there's this guy at my job. He's about 40 something, late 40s, early 50s. And he walking around with Cactus Jacks on and all the hot shit. And I'm like, yo, that's a midlife crisis if I ever seen one. But you saw me 10 years ago when I first came into this joint with all the shoes and shit. All those is gone, big dog. Like you're no longer talking to that version of me anymore. Right? I know how to patch holes up in walls. I know how to put baseboards on. I know I can paint a whole cabinet set. I've acquired some skills that let me know that like looking fresh is the very last thing that I think that I can provide for somebody. Like my wife now, she be looking at me like she'd be cracking me up because she
done
know
gave up, huh?
Nah, she know I possess some real daddy skills right now, right?
Oh,
yeah,
different.
Yeah, it's like
she hot and bothered.
Not like that. It's just that you ain't gonna just be living life how you used to. Like you got too much. And I'll be telling her like, oh, I'm ugly. She's like, no, you're not. Like I was like, you just saying that because we together or whatever, and you chose me.
Oh,
but
you fishing for compliments?
Nah, see, now you know how I feel. I tried to tell your ass that last week. But I just be like, yo, it's like I don't feel like I'm the sexiest dude. But then it took me a while to realize that, yo, if you offer stability and comfort, that's like the fieriest thing for women. And so she know, like when you go in there, yo, I always, remember I talked to you about my handyman I don't fuck with, I ain't gonna say bro's name, but he stayed with a woman. And I used to wonder, like, what the fuck they see him? He ain't got nothing really going. Yo, bro, go out there and change that oil. He changed the fan like Charles on BMF.
Hey, he been painting that fucking kitchen light for like 4 seasons.
Oh, he's still doing it?
He just finished it up before he went on tour.
He's still going over there?
Huh?
Charles still be going over there?
He lived there till now. He just left. He went on tour.
That's crazy. Well, with Meech?
No, church group or some shit. He about to play his music.
I'm so glad I'm not watching that. I swear to God. Yeah, I can't do it, bro. I can't. What's your thoughts on work-life balance?
It's important.
All right. How do you go about doing that?
I'm not, you asked me last week if like the whole server of money or is money a server shit for you.
That fuck with you a little bit?
No. Okay. Not at all.
It's me. That's why he said it like
but
that.
One of them things is like when it comes to work-life balance is I could probably be a manager at my job if I wanted to.
Yes.
I'd make X amount more dollars.
But you have X amount
but
more
that quality of life wouldn't be worth it to me to where it's like I'll take a somewhat of a pay cut because it helps my work-life balance. It's a lot more flexible what I do. I can make sure my priorities are met. I got a lot of shit to do outside of work, and I still want to be around. I don't like missing practices. I don't like missing games. I want to be there for everything while trying to tend to my own shit. And so I need flexibility in whichever way I can get that. And, you know, luckily I'm at a job and I've been there and I know what I'm doing enough to where I can achieve that. And I think it's why I'm able to do as much as I do and be as efficient and just kind of move at a high clip.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there are people at my job that take their work home because they're just so stressed. And it's like, but me, it's like I have the understanding this shit ain't going nowhere. It's going to be here tomorrow. And it don't matter how hard I work tomorrow. It's going to be there the next day. So I'm going to just do what I can do when I got to. And then I'll come back and deal with that shit later.
You brought up something that I thought was important. Do they look at you at work and say like, bro, you could be so much more, but you just choose not to? Like people say like, man, you could be a leader. Or have they?
So, yeah, there's been times when that's happened.
I hate that too. You know, I usually run into that from other black people.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't even, it's like, what are you doing here? You can make so much more money if you go fuck on out, like outside of the public sector. And that's true.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm doing.
I think because like we had an episode one time and I was like, yo, like I was talking about like chasing things and happiness and, you know I ain't gonna be a millionaire or whatever. And my boy, his cousin hit me and was like, dog, I don't like the fact that you said that. And I said, nah, it's not that I don't think I can ever be a millionaire. I just know what the work it takes to like do that. Like no one just falls on money. You have to work for it in some capacity. And based on my skill sets and stuff like that, the shit that I would have to do to be able to do that would take away from my home life. But me personally, like if I don't get through the stuff that I need to do for the weekend to feel like I recharge my battery, which is like have some bravado, you know, play a game or something like that, you know, flex my strength, you know, like, and people cheer on for me. Like I'm not going to come back Monday feeling the greatest, you know? So like people be like, oh, I noticed that like where I work at right now, the tide has shifted, right? Now that I'm in a management position or whatever, you know, at first they looked at me like I was a young dude when I first came in. I fuck around a lot or whatever. But now, you know, people start coming to me and asking me questions like, yo, y'all wasn't doing this 3 years ago, you know, but now that I've gotten settled, you done heard my name called in high praises a few times, got a few awards. It's like, well, let's go talk to him, right? And you know, I got the cool demeanor. I'm not the guy that like be out here like drinking the tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you got to die here. I be telling people like, yo, bro, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Like, I get it. But they be like, oh, you must work really hard. I don't. Like, I want to sit here and tell you that I do, but I'm more efficient. Arranger. That's my other strength. Right? So as an arranger, bro, I put my whole day in order and say like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I've been having battles, right? So with Chris, what it is right now, bro likes, we were talking screen time before we got on the mic. He likes playing PlayStation. And I'm like, bro, none of this shit is free. Like when you sit here and play all day, I get an email alert from Cox Cable telling me like, yo, you at 75%, like just to let you know. And it's like, bro, I'm trying to teach you what hard work is. I don't care if you don't play professional baseball. I understand that like less than 1% of the population gets in. That means that in any given year, 0 kids can get drafted from city of San Diego, right? At any given year. And they do like 5 or 6 rounds in baseball drafts, right? Just go to college and then go to college so you get your education, bro, so that you can do something else and you can get a house a lot faster than my mom and dad did and faster than I did. I got a house faster than they did, right? And now the next goal is for them to have a house faster than we did. And that's how we build generational wealth. And so for me, it's like the quality of life that I spend with my kids and spend with my family and emptying in my bucket or whatever. No job is going to replace that for me. You can't throw money in front of my face and think that I'm going to do something because of the opportunity. I will say no and people will call me crazy all day long. And you know that because I'll come out with some wild off the cuff shit that I believe in. You know, I don't give a fuck what y'all say.
Yeah, because I know how I was working before I had kids. And I was a workaholic.
Yeah.
I was doing 2 jobs. I would do whatever. Like, I got to make something happen because I'm not where I want to be. Mm-hmm. And so at first I'm like, damn, am I just getting lazy? Because I wouldn't do that shit today. But now I'm just like, nah, it's not that. It's just I can't, like, the opportunity cost of working versus what I'm giving up in that space is so much more now. Because it's like, yeah, I can go get a second job. I can make more money. That's, X amount more hours that I'm making money, that I don't have a chance to spend money. But at the same time, it's like I'm missing out on so much more or not doing what else I need to be doing.
Right.
Because while I was doing that in tunnel vision and go, I'm also neglecting other parts of me. And so while I can achieve so much in certain arenas and be looked at like, oh, all your shit's together, this and that, there's pieces of me that are so far behind that it's like, oh, it's going to catch up with me eventually. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to be as well-rounded as possible. And, there's just, especially these days, there's just not enough hours in the day to do what you need to do to take care of everything you need to take care of.
Yeah, I feel like the last few weeks, it's funny you said that because I feel like the last 6 months, bro, that I've been in a rush to get to the evening every day because that's when I know I gotta be at practice. I gotta have full energy and shit like that. I need to go to work. I need to finish going to the gym. I've been going to the gym at lunchtime for the last 6 months. Just so that I can have time in the afternoons. I ain't getting up at 5 a.m. It's just not gonna happen. So like, people are like, oh, you look a little thinner. It's like, yeah, I ain't eating like you saw me. I inhaled that burrito before we even got on here. That was the first time I ate something since 9 o'clock this morning. You know what I mean? So it's like to be able to deliver for my kids, bro, it matters to me, like, so that they know, yo, like my dad was out there with me. You know what I mean? You didn't have that luxury, but you know what it felt like to miss it. I feel like all the homies that didn't have their dad in their life earlier on are the best fathers right now because they know what it feels like to miss that. You know what I mean? So it's like what you're doing, bro, you're right on task where you're just as miserable as the rest of us because it's like, yo, I'm doing this in service for y'all. And we may bitch and complain, oh, we got to hang out with these motherfuckers today. I don't want to hang. But there's no other place you would be at because if you went somewhere else, dog, you be like, oh, I know he ain't doing his rep right. You know what I mean? I know he ain't focusing or whatever. And there's something to it, bro, that like, I was just thinking like how young my daughter was. My wife be going through photos, just be going through it and shit as they getting older. But I was like, damn, like that seems so long ago because right now we're teaching them to be, responsible young people and shit like that. Like I got them walking around talking about college. Like Mike graduated. We went to a graduation party. I showed them what it looked like. Like all those things get in the way. And that's where that work-life balance comes in because I'm no longer, like you said, I'm no longer about to be working 2 jobs. I'm not going to be gone doing long ass hours no more. I worked so hard earlier on so that I can have this moment that we have right now.
Right. Because I got time later when they grow up a little more and they're like, I ain't got to worry about you as much.
Yeah.
Then maybe I can go back if that's what I choose to do. But
I be scared because my body ain't going to feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. But for now, it's like, no, this is the time.
Like, you don't be hurting after practice some days?
No.
No, you ain't worked hard enough yet then. I'm out there running bases.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily doing all that with them, like, to that clip where I'm like, oh, I'm sore.
Yeah.
But it's, but that's what he said, man. He's like, especially if I'm another man and I'm entrusting another man to coach my son, I want them to have some level of investment into it, care a little bit. And so when he tells me like, oh, I wouldn't ask you down here, but I've seen you here all the time. I hear how you talk to your son. I see what you're doing with your other son over there on the sideline. Like, even though I'm focused on here, I see that. So I'm comfortable letting you talk to these other kids because you know what you're doing because it looked like you care.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, yeah.
Which is shitty, bro. Because like on our team, we got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe about 8 parents out of 16 kids, right? But eight sets of parents that really give a fuck, right? And one of the ladies, she's our team mom. She's amazing, right? She gives a shit, right? She's been out there summer, spring, all fall and shit just to see her daughter get better. But like when other people hear me speak, just like you saying right now, they want to like drop their kids off with me. And it's like, dog, like what I'm doing is not so hard. Matter of fact, y'all got it easier because like most of the drills and shit is online now. All you got to do is practice them. I taught myself how to play golf. just by looking at the movements and trying to find ways to get there. And it's like a lot of people want to watch their kids grow up through somebody else. And it's like, nah, I need to get my hands dirty, right? Like I got to be out there with you. I was having issues with my daughter because like when I would talk to her, I didn't say nothing about this, but about a month ago, she kept telling me she was playing by herself, right? And I was like, nah, fuck no. Like let's get this situated. So I hit the teacher up. You know, I'm like, hey, you know, does she play by herself? She's like, we ain't really looked at it, but you know, we'll check it out, you know, tomorrow and like give you the rundown. But she's always talking to somebody. She don't never stop talking when she get home. So I'm like, yo, what's the deal? School comes back the next day. She in there talking to the little girl. They giving me the rundown. Everything's good. But my daughter's swearing up and down she don't hang with nobody. But then I thought about like, yo, this age group is so weird. Like kids don't really play with each other at this age group. They terrorize each other, right? Because even like we went to the zoo last week. Little boy was in there, you know, come here, Corey. And just jumping on, and she like, get away. She ran up and like was next to me, and I was like, oh, I get it. This is just the annoying stage. Like
I was the zoo chaperone earlier this year, and I'm like, man, y'all motherfuckers.
At that point, that day, I was like, yo, y'all only need to work 265, right? You only need 265 days of work. I get it now. Because this shit, like, yo, you taking care of all these kids, which leads me to my next point, right? I think middle school is the worst, like, time of my life. Where'd you go? You went to PA?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a real...
It's a little different.
But for me, it was a real middle school experience because I left there and then I left there and went to high school. So it felt like real middle school to me.
Right.
Right? Because they had us sectioned off from the high school people or whatever. So I felt like I was in middle school. But like the whole prepubescent era and shit, I was just talking to this girl at my job. She was talking about how like one of the other girls, her daughter went to a school out here and she's developed already, like in like 7th grade, blonde hair. She's got some large breasts, a little bit of shape on her hips, and she be getting sexually harassed by all the little boys at school. And I was like, fuck, man, like that's kind of crazy. Like who goes through that in middle school? And then I've had to think back, like middle school was probably like one of my worst experiences. I had like a 1.75 GPA, right? I ain't give a fuck about school. I'm in between. You keep telling me I'm supposed to be going to college. That shit's 6 years away from me. That's forever to a kid. I just got out of elementary school. Y'all serving pizza here, right? I get to go buy my own snacks. I'm seeing people drive to school, right? Because I went to SCPA that's like grouped in with the high school kids. You couldn't tell me shit. I remember my fit the first day of school over there. I had a yellow Tommy Hilfiger quarter zip, big nasty. It was yellow. I had on some blue jeans. There was probably some bullshit, right? With the big cuff on them. We used to wear baggy shit. And I had some gray high top Air Force Ones. And that's where I remember you wore them Fat Farms. Because like that was my first time seeing you. That was around that same time period.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's all we cared about. Because there was... Who was the girl that used to dress real nice at SCPA? Black girl. She was always the flyest. And
Older one?
Yeah, I want to say she's part of the community.
Oh, shout out to Melissa Moses, man. That's my girl right there.
Yeah. So I remember her, and like that's why, like as kids, bro, you like soaking in shit as a sponge, and like that's the shit I used to see. I used to see y'all. I would see her killing it. Air Force One with Nelly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. And she was beautiful.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't see it like
we
that.
We go up to Fusion, Inferno, Escondido on us here, and she be there. Why are you hogging all the hoes?
Yeah, man. Mole perfectly placed.
She hooping too.
Yeah, hoop, and she can dress up nice. Because whenever she would dress towards her femininity, I was like, oh shit, you can really play it both ways right now. But I haven't seen her in years, so yeah.
Yeah, she lived right next to me at the first spot. I was like, oh, you live over here?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, the first spot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Like, that's always, and that's funny too, because I was telling her, I was like, yo, you get to see, like, in middle school, what kids, like, I'm not saying this is her, it just had me thinking about that, but you get to start to see, like, what kids ain't gonna be shit. Because now, in middle school, is like a collection of, like, 4 or 5 schools coming into this one school, right? Like, think about it. There's about 3 or 4 schools in this area. There's one middle school that's over here that my mom was like, you ain't going there. That's the only reason why I went to SCPA.
That's the reason why I went to SBA.
And my mom was like, "You ain't going to Morris either, right?" And if you would have put me at Morris, I would have never known anyone there. I didn't know anyone at Helix when I went there either. But it was a better shot for me, and it actually worked out. Like when I think about it, because when I left Skipper, I ain't know how to use no comma. For real, we was so worried about the arts and shit that when we got to the writing shit, I was like, "Yo, I don't know none of this shit, dog."
My first semester of college, I was on academic probation, and I was like, "Yo, I'm not stupid. I just think it was I just think that it came so easy to me in high school.
I don't think they gave a fuck though.
I wasn't ready for something like this, right?
Yeah.
And I got to put in a little more effort. It's not just going to click with me like that. Like, I actually got to do the work, and I wasn't doing that.
That shit designed to, like, show you all your flaws. Because, like, the homework, we got homework on the first day. I was like, yo, this ain't high school. High school, they at least let us ease in the first week. They're like, yo, you got 18 pages. See y'all next Thursday. And we need to write up on this. You need to write this. I'm like, fuck. And, you know, so I was talking to my wife about that because, you know, like I said, it's been a point of contention with my son in video games. I was like, yo, like I'm not trying to gloat, but I got 2 degrees. So it wasn't by mistake, right? And at some point, that shit hit me. Like, I remember my first semester in college, I came back because I seen you a lot my first semester in college. I would come down a lot. You probably don't remember. I just remember because of the drives. Right? Remember at one point I came and got the music box from you on one of those trips. So like I came down like 6 or 7 times, but then I found out that summer when I had no money that I can't just be like spending money willy-nilly like this. I was burning out of cash fast. But after that, I was like, yo, I got to stay up here. I got to get 10 toes down. I got to get really invested. Stop bullshitting. I got a 3.0. I don't know how the fuck I did. But then again, the GEs weren't that crazy. And then
shout out to Fresno.
That's what I'm saying. Like after that, the G's wasn't that crazy. When I got into the but my second year, they started making me take like physics and astronomy and all that. That shit ain't fun, bro. And I had to like astronomy. I'm not good in that shit. I
had a great time in astronomy.
Yeah, I mean the shit was dope. The homework was hard as fuck though. Like yo, it's cool when I can ask you, bro. But like now I'm at home and you tell, and then I got 3 other dudes that I'm living with. They playing music and shit. You know, they don't really give a fuck. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. And then you be like, oh, you want to go on the library? Like, bro, I had to really like get my toes dirty. And I really lost 6 years of my life or 5 years of my life in that motherfucker, bro. Because it was just like depressing of like the same shit. So like when they asked me after I got my bachelor's, like there was this lady, I'll never forget, Corinne Flores. She asked me, she was like, yo, what are you going to do after you graduate? I said, I'm going to go home and sleep on my mom's couch, open up a group home. Thought I knew everything, right? I only need $40,000. I'll go get me a house or whatever, open a group home. It's going to be easy. Not knowing that like 5 years later, they shut all group homes down in California, right? That would have been a bad investment. She said, nah, you need to come to the master's program, right? And do I want to say it? Nah. I'll say it. I think she retired now. She said, if you apply, I'll guarantee you get in. And I was like, well, fuck it. I got you, all right? I get in there and then they's like, oh, you got to maintain the 3.0 to stay in this bitch. You got to make sure that you like really working on your craft. You got internship. So like I would go to work. No, I would go to the gym. I would go to class, go to work, sleep 6 hours and go back and do that shit again. Some days at work, I would have to take homework. So there was night y'all was at below decos having the time of your life. And not you was in college too. But other people was having the time of their life. And I'm at work on a Friday doing homework. And that's when I learned, like, yo, bro, like at some point, this shit going to pay off. It's got to pay off. So that's why when we talk about the work-life balance shit, you know, like schooling experiences and shit, that wasn't, like, I still think middle school was way worse than this shit. But, like, when we talk about all that shit, like, I paid my dues. So can't nobody tell me that I do shit for money or for whatever the case may be, because I earned my right to be able to do this. You ain't gonna get me with no Tesla jokes because again, dog, I had that Ford Focus with the gas cap off for a long time. So you're right, I am in the middle. I'm a bad bitch. For real. So what was your worst school? Was middle school worse for you, or would you said college?
I think it just depends on how I'm trying to be like present.
What's one that you don't want to go back to?
I'm not trying to look at it in hindsight. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to go back to I don't know. I like school pretty much the whole way through.
I
There was bullshit along the way, but I mean,
I had Miss Dower in 8th grade. Did you have her?
no,
You know what I'm talking about, though, huh?
100%.
Used to call my mom all fucking day. He don't apply himself, man. I'm like, yo,
Damn, hating.
stop calling her, man. Shit, you know she gonna come down here, man. Fuck.
Yeah, honestly, it might be. Yeah, I ain't trying to go back to college again.
Yeah,
At
for
least
real?
the way I did it.
That's so crazy, man.
If I want to go back to college, I'm going back to actually just like, I don't really care necessarily about my grades because I'm not trying to do something. I want to go back to college to like, I'm actually here pressure free, just trying to learn some shit.
Oh, you don't feel like you was like that? What mode did you feel like you was in when you
No,
was
because I
there?
felt there was so much, because I was working 50 hours a week. I had to give up ball. I was doing whatever, but I wasn't like, I was so focused on like, I got to do this. I got to get out as quick as possible because I'm paying cash for it, that I wasn't like, oh, I'm living the college life.
So you didn't go to state games?
I went to a couple state games. I went to a few state parties.
But not with people from state.
But it
Usually-
wasn't, I don't have like college friends.
That's so crazy. Would you go back and redo that again?
I would do it differently, yeah. But at the same time, I say that, but I don't know if I would, because I felt like I was using all my time effectively doing what I need to do. I haven't been bored in like 20 years.
All right, that's fair.
I haven't sat around like, damn, I have nothing I either should be doing, could be doing, or was doing. I don't really sit here with idle time and just sit here.
So white privilege don't apply to you.
That's not necessarily true, but
Nah, I'm messing with you.
like I said, I just don't flex it the way I probably could.
Yeah.
And that's just probably stupid on my
because
part.
Paul Wall got a comb over right now. I'm like, yo, Lex, fuck it up, because he still look crazy with
Well,
the
he's
hand.
been married a long time, too. He can kind of get some different shit off.
Yeah,
Like,
I was so, and he got a new song out. It didn't sound that bad. Like, I kind of liked it. And I was like, yo, Lex could be walking around here with this comb over. Grow that shit out, dog.
I did that a couple times.
Nah, do it again. Bring it back. And you got full beard now too. Like before, you was just all neck beard. So you, the top grew.
Nah, what happened was when I was first getting the beard, that's back in that era where the chin strap was skinnier. The nasty times. And I was like, how skinny can I get this to make it look good?
Oh shit!
And I'm just like, yeah. I look at some of them pictures like, ooh.
And in our mind, that's all we knew.
It was hard back then.
Like I see the dude like tie his the bottom of his pants into his shoe so it didn't hang underneath, or tuck it into a sock. Remember we used to tuck our pants into our sock or whatever? That was a thing, like to make them into like sweats, the jeans. And I was like, yo, there's certain shit we shouldn't bring back. But back then it looked dope. I was doing that with high top shoes too. That's nasty. So or Creative Rex.
Man, I had my tongue flipped down in my chucks.
Yeah, see, all kind of
Real
that.
thug shit.
Yeah, but for what? Like now that shit look crazy. Back then, a lot of that shit was just glorified like jail shit though. Sagging, flipping the tongue down. They take the shoestrings out your shit. Now if I look at you, you got your shoestrings, man. They're like, yo, you on like watch. You know, they try to make sure you good. Sagging is kind of crazy now too. I'm not walking around here with my shit sagging.
Here's the thing about sagging. I think our era did it better. Once it became skinny jeans sagging, that shit made zero sense to me.
Yeah. Like, fam, and you wearing briefs, so it's like they're not regular boxers. Like, yo, like I'm seeing your whole shape, brother, and I don't need to see all that. Like, I'm good, man. I don't want to see all that. Hit my hand clasp, man. I don't want to see it, bro.
I see my man's been doing some squats.
Or nah, I ain't gonna say that. That remind me of Chris Tucker. He's like, oh, I know he mad when he pulled the towel off on Rush Hour. I know why he mad. Oh man. Let's see what we gonna get to. That's nasty. All right, read them and weep. My sister-in-law has a 22-year-old daughter and a 24-year-old son. Excuse me. Her daughter has been struggling lately and asked if she can move back in after she finishes college. My sister-in-law was very quick to say, no way, never. You don't want to move back in with your parents after you're an adult, and that she's definitely an adult. She asked my husband and if we'd be okay with it, and we said sure. I told her not to feel so embarrassed, and it's not uncommon where we're from for adults to live with parents. I told her I grew up in a multi-generational home. I don't think she knew what to think about that and was surprised again to hear that I live with my parents until I moved at 25. My husband told her a lot of cultures are not only okay with it, but eager for kids to stay home as long as possible or forever, and that the push to leave so soon as you graduate high school is a very common American thing to do. Now, I'm gonna get in my bag, and your experiences are probably a little bit different in this regard, but I feel like this isn't a black person that wrote this, so I'm only gonna speak from the black perspective. But I feel like we don't do a good job of getting people, as black people, right? We don't do a good job of getting people a good leg up. And even if you felt like you are doing a good job of giving people a good leg up, you don't have incentives, right? So like, for example, if somebody were to stay with me, right? And let's say you don't have a degree, but you're working. First of all, you can't stay with me if you ain't got a job, right? But if you got a job, I'm not going to charge you rent. We talked about this, right? So I'm not going to charge you rent, but I'm going to take money from you. And that's going to be the money because we have a plan for you to get out of here, right? So I have a savings right now for someone who's been staying with us for some time, right? Because I want this person to get established, right? And I've been working with this person. Yo, what's your credit score? What's this? What's that? What you got here? And they appreciated it because it was like, yo, nobody kind of told me this shit. And I was like, the only reason why I got this information is because of my mother, right? My mom was in banking, right? Which prompted me to talk to you about buying my house and shit like that. You helped me with the home buyer process. And I've learned that like with underprivileged communities and black people in general, right? We don't do a good job of that, of like educating each other and providing an avenue. Now, if you want to continue to be on some bullshit and not succeed, then you can't stay here. So when I got here, when I moved back, from Fresno, I was able to stay here for 5 years. My mom, I would give her money every month, but she ended up giving it back to me. And back then I used to tell people out of pride, like, oh, I pay rent. You know what I mean? Just to say that. Oh, you live at home, blah, blah, blah. It must be easy or whatever. No, my mom would make me pay for shit. So like I saved money on top of the money that I gave her. So I saved up enough money to be able to buy my house. And then she gave me that money back to be able to do my floors and stuff like that. So I feel like it's important. Now, for me, like I love my kids to death, but you're not about to stay here like rent free, and you're not going to stay here rent free without doing anything. I disagree with this lady though, because in the United States, the average person doesn't reach independence until 29. And the shit that you was talking about last week, that number may go up to 35 by the time our kids are adults, because no one can afford to live out here. Just the neighbor right here, said back in the day in the 90s in National City, you can get an apartment for $700 a month. And he thought back then that was expensive. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have no problem or no qualms with my kids living with me at an older age, but you're not going to just be here. That's why I wanted to get multiple houses, because it's like, yo, just go live in that house and keep up the rent. Go practice. You don't need to have roommates, because roommates is bullshit too. So how do you feel about it?
I think it's a case by case. As far as speaking as a white American, like obviously if it's part of the culture, like a lot of Asian communities, they triple up on the generation and stuff like that. And that's just what they do. And so I think a lot of people that don't like to be cooped up or like their space, it's like, yo, y'all gotta get the fuck out of here. And I kind of agree with you on most part. Like, yo, it's rough out here. So I'm not on some like, oh, because I see this stuff going around sometimes online where it's like, oh, I'm never going to be that parent. My home is forever their home. And it's like, I feel you, but I'm also like, if you ain't doing shit, you ain't applying yourself for nothing, I'm not going to make it a pleasant experience for you. And so I don't want it to get to the point where it's like, all right, you got to get out of here, and it's on some like, well, shit, that still ain't gonna fix them, and they gonna end up doing some fuck shit or being in the street and whatever. But at the same time, it's like you need to have some sort of plan, and that's how I feel like, you know, in a few years when college starts to come up, you know, more kids nowadays are just like, yeah, college, I don't need college. College is bullshit like that. And I was like, I feel you. It's not the same as it used to be, but I need to know the plan so I can support you properly. Because, and the same thing I'm doing with this sports shit. I didn't really have the shot to do what I wanted to do. I had to work around and do what I had with what I had. So for me, it's like, okay, I want to give you something I didn't have. And so I'm not trying to be like, okay, well, everything's paid for you and you're taken care of, so you get the sense of entitlement. It's like, no. If you really love something and want to take a crack at it when you're young, I'm all here for that. As long as you fully invested and really give it a shot and you ain't bullshitting around. Especially these sports now. It's like, man, all this shit's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and pay all this money, come to the game, and you just sitting on a bench because you don't apply yourself at practice. And so you don't get on the field. Mm-hmm. Something, man. And so if you come to me later, it's like, well, I really want to do this, and I know you're built like that. Like, all right, you might not make it, but I'm going to do what I can to give you that shot.
Yeah.
I can do that. And if it sets you back to where you got to stay at home, whatever, afterward, like, I can deal with that. I can't deal with you just being like, I just don't know. Especially if you out doing random other little shit and just living life and just be like, well, I just don't know what I want to do. Like, nah, you better sit down and think. That's where I'm at.
I'm with you. I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like other communities, they do a really good job of taking care of their people and making sure that they where they supposed to be at. And I saw that, you know, real early. You know, like, God willing, you know, when my parents leave this earth, you know, they leave this house to me and everything is clean. I ain't got no siblings to fight over it. And then when I leave this earth, you know, my kids at least have 2 spaces. And my job right now is trying to get a 3rd, right? So they ain't never really got to worry about that. You always going to have money, and if you fuck it up, you fuck it up. You know, I spent all my life trying to acquire these things for y'all. I can't control what I can't control when y'all not here no more, when I'm not here no more. You know, and I was sitting there telling that to, you know, my son the other day. I was like, yo, man, like, this shit's yours. I know, like, you still, you know, you got your dad and everything, and, you know, whatever he acquired, you and your sister are going to have to figure this out. And if y'all fight later on, then you fight. Just don't do that shit in front of me. You know what I mean? But I can't stop that. So, you know, at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that my kids have the tools. And I also have to understand that what they're building with is some bullshit right now. Right? Social Security going to be really fucked up by the time I get to that age. You too, right? By the time they get to that age, it's even worse. So it's like, yo, I got to have an alternative plan now. And I just started thinking about those things. And most people don't think ahead. Like you said, people be like, oh, I don't want to go to college. Well, bro, you don't have to go, but your options are very few after that. You either need to start a business, hit the lotto, right? Or have an inheritance. And, you know, you're going to have to put some money into the lotto to be able to get it. So you may never even get that. Right. And the inheritance piece, well, you know, we don't come from money. So you're going to have to probably go to school. Like, people are like, oh, I'm going to go learn a trade. Yeah, the trade is going to put you in a bubble. Right. You only acquire so much. Like, if you're a mechanic, like, your body has to get spent somewhere trying to, like, you know, fix vehicles to be able to earn your money. You're going to lose in the long run. Body start breaking down and shit. That's why, like, my father-in-law, he works real hard on his hands and knees. And as a man at his age, he still moves around pretty good. But there aren't too many people like that he's worked with or in his age bracket in that line of work that are still faring too well. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know. I think that it isn't wrong. If that were to occur, it sounds like this young lady went to go live with the uncle. I'm sure mom probably had some resentment over that. But, yeah, that shouldn't be no thing, man. You should be able to support. You lived at home, too.
Different reasons and different, you know, whatever.
But you was able to, though.
Yeah. I probably should have listened to my gut and left a little earlier, but...
Financially, could you have left earlier?
Yeah.
But you didn't, and then you acquired what you acquired now. So if you went back now, you would still leave earlier?
Yeah.
All right. Peace of mind?
I think, again, on paper, oh, you got to do whatever. And again, I was paying rent too. I was paying for shit. She didn't give me nothing back.
Right.
But I also understand that, okay, well, I probably would still be paying a little bit more if I left. But again, similar to work-life balance, just, quality of life.
Right.
I'll pay a couple $100 more a month to not deal with everything that came along with that.
Yeah.
And so my whole thing was, I don't want to leave like this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be the son that only sees you on holidays. I don't want to be, it's like, damn, because we've never seen eye to eye. We're not like friends. There's not a whole, like, you don't really know me that well. Mm. And so if I leave, it's going to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to stay here a little longer and I'm going to try to force a relationship. And that did me nothing. Mm. So I wasted a couple more years doing that. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let me get extra focused. And instead of just, I could pop out now and go rent and do whatever. But if I just focus up, give me like another 10 months and I'll just go buy some shit. And that's what I did.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Batter up. All right, 3 cheers. Yay. So I wanted to talk about this. It's not all the way in stone yet. But this has actually been shaping us for the last 25 years at this point. And I think that it's important to talk about. So NBA on TNT may cease to exist when this is all said and done, right after this basketball season. Charles, Kenny, Shaq, all of them, they are at the end of their contracts with TNT. And on top of that, there's a battle for NBA contracts. So TNT, as we know it, watching that late night basketball TV show on Thursdays is about to come to an end possibly after 25 years. When asked about the future of Inside the NBA, Barkley, who has been part of the broadcast since 2000, said that those involved in the studio have zero idea what's going to happen. We might lose it. I feel so bad for the people I work with. It's brutal. He told ESPN Chicago's Tom Waddle and Mark Silverman, everybody's scared to death. Inside the NBA first aired in 1989 and has become an institution of the NBA's broadcast coverage. The current studio crew, Barkley, Ernie, Johnson, Kenny, and Shaquille, have been together since O'Neal joined the show in 2011. Johnson has hosted the show since 1990, while Smith joined in 1998. So it's going to shake the landscape, but I think that they really time marked the culture for us. Because I can't think of any sportcasters like them in that lineup that had this much impact, like on society, culture. Shaq and the Fool and all this stuff came up. Kenny running up to the prompter. Yesterday I was watching it and bro had a little lift. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watch to the point where I give, if I fall behind, like I watch every episode, even like this game happened last week.
Yeah.
I'm still watching
because of
the show.
It's like a podcast almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, for you. Yeah. So how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, especially our age bracket, it kind of is a thing. They're a show that you're going to watch whether there's a game, like, okay, this game's not good. I might go do something else, but I need to get back to make sure I'm watching this.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen with the ESPN crew, the ABC crew, and all that. And it's different. And none of them on the panel need the money.
No.
They're all speaking from like, oh, all the crew that we've been working with for years that don't make millions of dollars, they worried about them.
Right.
And eventually we knew this would happen just because like, okay, well,
I think Charles wanted to retire at 60. He kept.
They're all getting at a certain age. I mean, Ernie been doing this shit like for over 40 years in different ways. It's like he's up there.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is one of those jobs where it's like I'm gonna work as long as I can, and we love it. But eventually, it was gonna end. I I hate if it's going out this way. That kind of sucks because it's like, oh, it's being taken by, some big bank take little bank shit.
Yeah.
But it's gonna suck. But it's gonna be an NBA season after that. There was an NBA season before him. It's gonna keep pushing, and we're just gonna have. Hopefully, we're gonna come into a new crop of personalities, and we'll latch on to somebody who can be this generation's version of it.
What I enjoyed, and I might be in the minority of this, but I actually like Draymond Green as a TV personality. Because this is a proven winner, and his analysis and breakdown of the game, that's what they do for me. When it's halftime and they start getting up on that screen and showing you the shit, like, not everyone does that. It reminds me of, like, what's my man's name? Tony Romo. When he breaks down the telecast or some shit on football, like, and he be calling the play out before it happens. You see this backer right here? He's about to blitz. And the dude, sure enough, blitzes, right? Tony don't miss always, right? He miss, but not always. He normally be spot on. So, like, they gave you a look at the game and made it, like, even more because basketball, I feel like, has already been aligned with, like, black culture and shit like that. But they made it even cooler, to be up there. And even Ernie, right? You're Ernie, right? They only make Ernie's every 5,000 babies. You know what I mean? It ain't a bunch of y'all out here. So, or 5,000 white babies, let me say that. But it ain't a bunch of y'all out here, right? And so I'm going to miss them, because as of right now, the guys that are in line right now, I think Amazon is one of them and NBC is another one coming back. They already got contracts with people, so this group ain't coming back in this same capacity. If you were thinking that they was going to hire all four of these guys again, or all five of them, whatever the number is, four of them, they're not going to do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Shout out to them, though, man. TNT, y'all had a good run. And I'm going to keep soaking this shit in all NBA playoffs because it's probably the last time. This is the last of the Mohicans. So, yeah. And there's not other personalities that I give a shit about to watch it. I don't even watch ESPN right now.
No.
Like, I don't watch it. Like, it's not even on my TV, right? It's the Golf Channel and maybe Family Guy or whatever, and that's it, bro. I don't watch sport channels anymore. I used to watch Around the Horn and all that, but they got rid of a lot of them people over the years. Jim Rome. Shit got a little watered down, though, as I got older. Jim Rome did. But, yeah, it's just another thing.
Yeah, other than Wilbon and Kornheiser, that's the only people I stay, and I listen to them in podcast form now.
You don't like Blackstone?
It's not that I don't like them. I just not invested enough to follow y'all.
Yeah.
Like, even though I fuck with Michael Wilbon, I don't watch the NBA Countdown on ABC.
Right.
And they be having some big names over there.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Stephen A. and all them. I don't really rock with them enough to be like, I'm gonna follow y'all.
Yeah, Stephen A. has gotten weird as like life has gone older. I feel like he's like a hater now. It's like worse.
I mean,
R.I.P. Stuart Scott.
I ain't gonna,
Real shit. R.I.P. Stuart
it's
Scott.
what it is.
3 cheers for you.
I had one earlier that I was thinking about.
And it's gone.
Yeah, man.
And we out. Go ahead and play that music.